Hi, Eva, or Hola, Eva. I don't know how to pronounce your name after all this time. How stupid. Anyway, I thought I'd do a little video where we can go through all the different things in the browser and in the site, and you can try to figure out what the problem is that you're having and what might be causing it and what we can do to fix it. So let's try. All right, so here's my computer, and I have it on all the time, and I have it open all the time, and I have all these programs open, and my browser is always open, and I have all these tabs with all the sites that I use all the time. I don't know what your setup is. Maybe you're one of these people that turns it off every time you're not using it, or unplugs it, or closes everything. I don't know. So you need to let me know. I've been asking you. You don't tell me. So let me know. Here's the site, and I have it open already. See, it's going to look a little different to you because you have different permissions than I do. So here I have all posts, and this shows all the latest posts and all that. You're used to that. So I didn't have to log in because I already had it open, and I have it open all the time. Now, eventually it'll ask me to log in if I leave it open long enough, but it's not that often, honestly. So that's the best bet, so that you don't have any login problems, is that once you log in, keep it open, okay? I'm assuming that your problem is the logging in because I'm just judging by what you tell me. So you need to tell me differently if it's after you log in or at some other point, okay? And I'm talking about like for the last month, not months ago. So if it's different every time, I need to know that too. Okay, so let's say, okay, I have the site bookmarked, of course, and if I click on the bookmark, then it always asks me to log in. Unfortunately, the old site did not do that. I don't know why. But anyway, so you've got your login here, and it should remember what your password is. Now, I'm not going to show you my password, but the best bet here is to click on the little eye, and it'll show you your password. So you don't have to type it in, but you can double check it to make sure you've got the right one. I assume you've got it written down or in your email. If not, make sure you've got it. Okay, so and make sure that it's written, that it's correctly in here, because remember, we did change your email a few months ago, so it's possible that you have more than one. I don't remember if you had it under Ava or whatever it was. You might have it in there more than once under different names, different passwords. So that might be part of the problem you're having. So make sure that the password is correct. And if it's not remembered, if you didn't remember it, then type it in yourself and make sure it's correct. That's all I can really say. I mean, you got to make sure it's correct every single time. It's going to be the same case. It's case sensitive, I believe, and it's got the same numbers and letters, whatever you changed it to when I sent you the password reset back in, I believe it was July. So that's the number one thing, and there's nothing I can do about that. That's your doing, and you have to make sure that's done right. And I'm not trying to make you feel bad, because please, we've all made these mistakes a million times. Trust me on that. I make so many mistakes every day, even though I know better, and go, I'm so stupid. Why did I do that? So don't feel bad. Anyway, so then once you log in, then you should not be getting any error messages, and it should just load right there. Now, if you have a slow connection, or if you have a bad connection, or an intermittent connection, that will affect your login. But considering you didn't have any problems before you came to this, before we moved the site over, I don't think it's that. But I think the problem does have something to do with your logging in, because in the old site, you didn't have to log in, right? It remembered it almost all the time. So I think the login is where you're having your problem, but I'm not an expert. I'm certainly not an expert, honestly. So, okay. So anyway, excuse me, allergies. So that's one thing. And once you have it logged in, you shouldn't have any problems. But if you're getting some error messages, you need to take your phone like this one and show me what you're doing when you get the error message. I know this can be really hard. Maybe you could get your brother, someone to hang out and videotape what you're doing on the computer and see what happens. But I need to see like the whole thing so I can see the URL, the address here to make sure you're in the right place and all that stuff. Okay, so you should be in that same place. Okay, so let's see, what was the other thing I was going to say? So if that is not working, if none of that works for you and you can't get it to work, okay, so here are the other things that I've told you in the past. Okay, you need to close everything down, close your browser, close all these programs, everything you got open, close the window, whatever you got open, close it, and then don't just restart it. Okay, go over to, oops, what did I do? Wrong side. Sorry. See, I make mistakes all the time. Make sure you choose shut down, not just restart. Okay, shut down. And then wait for it to shut down. And then press the power button and have it boot up again. Okay? And then if that doesn't work and you try logging in, it still is giving you that error problem, then what you need to do is clear your cookies. Okay, so depending on what browser you're using, I'm in Firefox, so I go to Tools and Settings, and I believe it's Privacy and Security, and then there's a bunch of things down here, cookies and site data. You click on Clear Data. Okay, so that's where you clear your cookies, I believe. Yeah. Firefox will remember history if you want to clear history. The problem with clearing history is you'll lose other stuff, so you don't want to do that. Okay, but anyway, that should work. Cookies and site data, and then clear data. That should get rid of your cookies. And once you do that, then you have to close your browser and then start it up again. In fact, it'll probably tell you to do that. All right, so then let's see. If that doesn't work, then what you will need to do is tell me your other email address, if you have one, or do you want me to use that one that always says Carlos? I assume it's a different email address. I haven't really paid attention. If so, just tell me and I'll use that one, and then we will send you a new password, okay? Completely new email address, username, and password, and then we will test it out and see if that works better. Can't hurt, right? But please do all those other things first, because those are much easier and we'll solve the problem, hopefully. And then if that doesn't work for you, then it's a little more complicated, and you might want to get your brother or someone who knows a little bit more about computers involved. But basically, you want to go look for your, let's see, what are the, oh gosh, I just had it. What's the name of it? It's called, you want to find your startup programs. I couldn't remember the name. I'm 61. I don't know how old you are, but I don't remember things all the time. And I've got diabetic, so it affects my memory sometimes. Okay, so you want to find startup apps. Now, you don't want to just turn everything off. No, that would be bad. But what you want to do is find the programs that have the most impact on your startup. Okay, so things that can slow down your startup and things that can get in the way of your program that might be affecting your browser or your login. I don't really know because, like I said, I'm not an expert. But so what you do is you can turn off anything that you know is not important. You don't have to have it in startup. Now, this doesn't mean you can't use the program. It just means that it's not automatically starting up every time you start Windows. See, now I've got a lot of things in startup. Well, quite a few. I've turned off a lot of mine. See, all these things I've turned off. All these things, there's a lot, right? You don't need most of the startup apps. So if you're not sure what something is, like it does tell you here, but it's like, what the heck is that? Then you can look it up in your browser and say, what is, you just copy this or retype it You say, what is that? And it'll tell you what it is in your browser, in Google. You can see whether it's important for startup or not. It will tell you, okay? So like everything else, it should tell you what it's used for. I mean, Realtek is my audio, so I do leave that on, but it's not important. If I wanted to take it off, I would. And Backblaze is my backup program that I use. So you just have to go through and toggle the ones that are not important, okay? So this is high impact. So that means it's making my computer slow, right? When I start it up, having these programs on that say high impact, that means that it's making it slower to boot up. So if I want a faster boot up, I should toggle these off, okay? But sometimes when you try to use a program and then it's like, oh, that's not on, so it's not necessarily going to recognize that you want it on or not. That's too deep in the weeds. Let's forget about that. But you can always start any of these programs just by typing the name into your search bar. So even if they're toggled off, you can still use them. It's not a problem. Just that some programs work better if they come up automatically in startup. So that's why you look them up, to make sure it's not some important Windows thing or something, you know. Okay. Of course, if you don't feel comfortable with that, and I don't blame you, then you could always take your computer somewhere to a computer expert and have them try to help you figure it out. But, of course, that would cost you money, unless you know somebody who's good at that. Okay, so let's see what else. Anyway, this has been a long video, but those are all the things that I know about that you can try to figure out and see if one of those things helps you. Let me know. Please do let me know. But honestly, come in here, you know, log in. If you don't have problems, then work. And if the problem comes up, you need to figure out what you were doing when the problem came up. And if it comes up when you log in, I just gave you a whole bunch of things you can try. Okay? Excuse me. If you have trouble logging in, then go away for like a half an hour, come back, try it again. If it's still a problem, then try those things. Because sometimes sites go down. Even the old site did that every once in a while. Go down, they come back up again. So that's why you say wait for half an hour before you complain. But also wait for half an hour before you try it again. Just to see if the site was down temporarily. But here I am losing my voice. Okay, so anyway, try those things. Let me know how it goes. And please be as specific as possible when you email me. Give me as many details as you can. I know it's hard, but try to do that. Or make a video to let me know. Okay, bye.